big up, yeah, big up and massive gratitude, yo. Big up and massive gratitude to all of y'all for coming through to come play, to come, yeah, move, to come feel. Yeah, I'm gonna go straight into it. Um, so tonight or this morning, I'm connecting from Indonesia, so it's exactly 7:20 into the future, 7 a.m. into the future, 7 o'clock in the future, and some parts of the world are still in Thursday, and yeah, I'm in Friday. So tonight, today, wherever you are connecting from, we are not gathering around what happened. We are gathering around what didn't happen, the almost, the never, the imagined, the interrupted, the could have, maybe the should haves, most importantly, the didn't. Not as absence, but as presence. Because some things shape us without ever becoming history. So as we begin, I invite us to a moment of just arriving, however, whatever that means to you. Maybe this looks like feeling your body where you are seated, or standing, or lying down. Feeling gravity holding you without asking who you became. Simply taking a moment just to do some small noticings, maybe of some sound, maybe of some sensations. We're not changing anything, we're just doing the simple work of noticing. Now, I invite you to gently notice the space beside you or around you. Maybe an empty chair, maybe if there's a bit more space next to you, just for noticing, maybe a bit more space in front of you, maybe even some space behind you. Just some subtle noticings. Okay, and now it gets a little bit different. I invite us to imagine something that never happened in your life. And let this something that never happened, let it take up space. Let it take up space next to you. Maybe behind you, maybe in front of you. Maybe there's an empty chair close by. Let's really invite this something, this could have, would have, should have, to take up space. And maybe a small invitation I would like to add to that is maybe not the most dramatic shoulda, woulda, coulda, uh, maybe not the most tragic shoulda, woulda, coulda. Inviting you really to invite something that never happened, that is maybe a bit more silent and a bit more quieter. Let it just be there. We gather here today not to fix it, not to complete it. We are here to acknowledge that it may have always been near, close to us. So now, without thinking too much, or at least thinking with the brain or the head, I invite us to, however we find comfortable with our bodies, however we are, to, yeah, presence this almost. You don't need the details. You don't need to run a whole story. Just notice the presence of this almost. The presence of this could have happened, could have identity, could have experience. Inviting you to notice, does your breath shift when this presence is here, or this memory, or this idea enters? Does your spine change shape? Does your jaw tighten or soften? I now invite you to wherever we've placed this shoulda, woulda, coulda, either next to us, somewhere on an empty chair, maybe somewhere in the corner of the room, or maybe somewhere on the floor, or maybe lying next to us. I invite us now to lean slightly away, which feels more honest. This intimacy of leaning or feeling it close by, or the space we create when we lean just a bit away. We often believe we are shaped by decisions we made. I'm here to provocate, to provoke the idea that what if we are shaped just as much by rehearsals that never became the main performance? I invite us at this time to maybe change our position, however you are. Just change your posture, change maybe the way you sit in, change the way you lie down, just slightly. There's a small change. Now I invite you just to take a moment just to arrive and notice. Notice how identity shifts when posture shifts. Perhaps identity is not a fixed story. Perhaps identity is a choreography. We'll take a moment just to breathe, however shallow or deep you feel necessary and comfortable. And invite us to go a little bit more deeper. Perhaps there isn't just one version that never happened. Maybe there are multiple versions that never happened. Perhaps there are many. I invite us now to presence two of them. Let two of them appear. Maybe let one either stand, sit, lay on your left, and let one stand, sit, lay on your right. They do not have to agree with each other. They do not have to be up against each other. They can, yeah, quietly occupy space. One might be bold, one might be quiet. One version might be wildly irresponsible, and maybe another is painfully disciplined. I invite us to evoke a sense of play with these presences. Let's lean gently to the left, and maybe for a moment, let's become that version. I really invite you here to get into it. Change your breath, change your posture, let your face shift slightly. Now lean to the right. And if you felt yourself being a bit serious, I really want to shake you up and invite a sense of play, a sense of theater, a sense of drama. a sense of a plot twist. Uh, so as we lean to the right this time, I invite us to really embody a change of breath, a change of posture. Let your face shift slightly. Let it be slightly theatrical, slightly imperfect. And now we can return once again to the center, noticing, feeling the tensions of holding multiple, not realities, but rather unrealities at once. As we feeling, sensing, and noticing, I would like to offer one provocation. These are sometimes the provocations that, yeah, meander in my own mind. Uh, and I really grateful to presence it here with you guys. And yeah, what if you were never meant to become one coherent story? We can just let that rest and find its place. So if any of us can move, I invite us to, yeah, just to bring our bodies to a readiness to move. Maybe that looks like standing up. And once again, this is all invitational. Movement can also be done lying down, sitting. I'm really not wanting to disrupt space too much around you and within you. So if it is that you can move, I invite us just to get into a position to move. So I invite us to take 3 slow steps around your space. And I want us to imagine that both these versions of these shoulda, woulda, couldas are walking with you. If maybe a rocking feels more present if you're lying down or sitting down, I invite you to rock. Feel the presence of these unrealities. I invite you to quietly ask, which one did I exile too quickly? Maybe another contemplation is, which one is relieved that it never had to live my life? Noticing what arises in your body and knowing that whatever arises is enough. Maybe you can take a moment just to pause there, whatever that looks like. Now I invite the trickster. If the trickster is not already present, I call upon the trickster energy, the cosmic trickster, and what I what I am translating from the trickster energy is, what if this unlived is not wounded? What if the shoulda, woulda, coulda is not a wounded energy, but freedom? And now I invite us, wherever we are, however we are, move as if one of these versions had less fear, less need to prove, and less urgency to succeed. I invite you through the trickster, childlike clown energy to disrupt this movement by moving slower than you want to. And maybe just here, pause. Let one part of your body disagree with another part. Let awkwardness become welcome. If laughter arises, let it. If stillness arises, let it. And let's slowly move once again, rocking, maybe moving the toes if it is that we are sitting or laying down. Maybe just moving the fingers, finger dancing, and bringing our movement slowly to a place of whatever feels right. We can just hang out here with ourselves, with our two unrealities, with our two shoulda, woulda, couldas. I think a lot of us come from spaces where we've been trained to treat what did not happen as failure. But what if it was just simply possibility resting? Yeah, just inviting and noticing movement as these contemplations really find their place in the body, not as stillness, but as an energy. And with a form of stillness on the horizon, I invite us slowly to come to a place to meet it. So now we can shift our bodies So you're no longer facing or in proximity to the imagined presences. Maybe we can put a bit more, maybe not to sort of send them out the room just yet, but just maybe create a bit more space between them and you. There's one on the left or one on the right. Yeah, create a bit more space. In that there's one in an empty chair or on the couch. Create a bit more space. There was one laying down next to you. Ask it to scoot over a bit to create a bit more space. Notice the difference. When we face something, sometimes what comes to the body is this idea of confrontation, to confront it. But when we have a bit more space, or we stand beside it, or sit beside it, we walk with it. In this experience of bringing forth these should have, would have, could have, these unlived realities, unrealities, we are not becoming them, and they are not becoming you. However, perhaps they were never meant to disappear. I invite us to place one hand on our chest, and we can quietly ask, what did this never give me anyway? What did the should have, could have, would have give me anyway? What did this unlived reality give me, even though it never came to be? Really anchoring in not what it took, but what it gave, and slowly, yeah, allowing that answer to arrive, or maybe not. And if you're willing, I invite us to offer an answer if one arrives, or just in the form of one word in the chat. Only one. Uh, so what did this never, what did this should have, would have, could have give me? What did this unlived reality give me? Maybe I can copy and put that in the chat. Hmm. Choice, insight, peace, poetry, a well-honed sense of longing. Hmm. Play. Hmm. The freedom to not have to deal with the shame and the costly nature of a divorce. Of divorce. Hmm. Hmm. We can just offer ourselves, and these coulda, woulda, shouldas, one breath, one collective breath. Offer the field one collective breath. A nice deep inhale and a nice slow juicy exhale. Now, finally, one last experiment. We are going to bow, but not politely, not solemnly. We maybe I would like to invoke this energy of ridiculousness. I want us to create a ridiculous bow to the unloved, something over dramatic, something unnecessary, something slightly absurd, because sometimes reverence is lighter than seriousness. So wherever you are, if it is that you want to offer yourself a witnessing, I think it will be great. So I'm inviting that. And also, you don't need to be witness. You can also do this camera off. But if it is, however, wherever you are, you can offer yourself a ridiculous, overdramatic, unnecessary, and a slightly absurd bow to the to that which never happened. I'm gonna get up for this one. Hmm. Yeah. I invite us not to really worship what never happened, just to simply include it. Feel the difference between worship and inclusion. And yeah, have we come to a moment of collective stillness, feeling what is wanting to be felt, notice what is wanting to be noticed, move where there's something that feels like it wants to be moved. Tonight, today, this afternoon, or this morning, we're not gathering around what happened. We were gathering around what did not, the almost, the never, the imagined, maybe even the interrupted, the should haves, the could haves, but didn't. Perhaps some things arrive by simply not arriving. Perhaps some versions of us were never meant to become real, only meant to stretch the walls of our own becoming. Tonight, today, this afternoon, or this morning, you did not lose anything. You did not gain anything. You simply discovered that you are larger than your history. Look at the space beside you or around you one last time. Notice it may not feel empty anymore. Maybe there's some energies present. Take one breath in this moment. And with that, let the unreal walk with you without needing to become real. Thank you.